Hello, this is John with Brainstorm Comics and Gaming, and I'm here this week with Chris. I'm loving it.
Gross.
No?
That was
That's
bad.
the worst?
That was bad.
Is that the worst one so far?
I mean, McDonald's is gross. I don't want to be associated with McDonald's, man. That's lame. I mean, points for trying. At least you switch it up this week, but
It wasn't a song title or a...
no, I would. Yeah, no, that's cool. Like you switch it up. I'll give you like half a point for that. But
Right.
McDonald's is gross. Super gross.
Pretty much all I eat now because it's just right up the street.
That is a lie.
That's true. I eat Indian wok also.
Yes, you do.
Azteca. I like Azteca.
Okay, comic books.
Oh, yeah, we do that, don't we? So anyway, I know you were surprised this week that it was such a big week for comics. Normally...
but a big week in like a good way.
Yeah.
And like a bunch of stuff came out, not a big week.
And
like,
news also.
I mean, there was some news. Yeah.
I was like normally it's very quiet the week before Christmas because everybody's like, we'll get to it later.
Yeah, I was kind of like looking forward to it. I was like, man, I'm not going to spend $1 million this week on comic books, and that was a lie. I told myself.
So this week we're going to be discussing several different things. The news aspects we're going to be talking about. Dark Horse is now owned by someone other than Mike Richardson. We're going to be talking about the changes to Punisher that are upcoming. We're going to discuss the books we're looking forward to most reading this week.
Is that technically news?
It's news to them. Like, we know it, but they don't know it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We're going to talk about we're an opinion show also.
Yeah, but you like specifically said
Whatever.
the news.
So anyway, we're also going to be discussing the covers and variant covers that we liked particularly on the wall this week. We're also, despite your protestations, talking about CGC and CBCS. You said maybe one of us will be talking more than the other one.
I think that's going to be the case.
And I think that's all that we had on the docket for today, but we'll see.
Cool.
Maybe I'll come. Oh, Best Wednesday Ever. Can't forget Best
Always
Wednesday Ever.
best Wednesday ever. Can
So-
we just get your bitch fest out of the way
No,
first?
we're not going to do that one first. We're going to do the book that we're looking forward to. Let's start off soft, and we're going to go into, and then we'll end
I
on
just want to rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with.
It's a very detailed discussion of that.
Yeah, so I could like go to the bathroom, smoke a cigarette real quick, and come back and
we
not
do
have
not
to.
condone cigarette smoking or
No.
any smoking.
I don't condone you complaining about. Never mind. Let's go.
Anyway, so we'll start off with, as we said, it's a very big week this week, despite being the week before Christmas.
Yeah.
So, which book were you looking forward to most on the shelf this week?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight?
Yeah.
I know that they just introduced a new character last issue, which has ties to an older character, and they're also going to be doing, I think this one's the origin of the character.
I think so. Yeah.
So that one's definitely on a lot of people. That's one of the books that bucks the trend of normal readership. Normally, as books go on, you see a drop in readership.
I think Moon Knight's one of those books, kind of like Spawn or something like that, where like Moon Knight heads are just about Moon Knight, and they're gonna do what Moon Knight does. You know.
But other people outside of that are now picking it up, and
It's a really good run. It's been written really well.
so for me, I told you I enjoyed Black Panther #1 really.
Yeah, I need to stick my foot in my mouth. I went back and reread issue 1, and I definitely liked it more. Maybe I was just like in a bad mood or something when I read it the first time. But I picked up the second issue.
So I'm looking forward to the second one. I feel like there's a lot of things that he built into it that he can mine over the course of a long run on there. If he does like 5 years, I think he has more than enough things that he just planted in that first issue to run with. So
yeah, he definitely planted a lot of seeds, and we'll see which ones they fertilize and cultivate.
yeah, because like I told you, I mean, I don't really blame Ta-Nehisi Coates. I feel like Marvel kind of set him up with failure on that because he was from outside the industry and they didn't give him. I feel like they could have given him somebody to help him along, like with comic book writing. And
Yeah, I also feel like that was just like not an interesting story.
yeah. And then they tried to make it more interesting with the Venom stuff that they kind of or symbiote stuff that they kind of tied in.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of Marvel's shtick, though, right? When something's like not working, they just throw a Spider villain at it or throw a Spider-Man at it or some sort. Like, oh, this book isn't kind of selling. We'll just throw Spider-Man in it, or we'll throw Venom in it, or make Donny Cates write it. Yeah.
So, like, I would say that the readers would be very happy with either one of those books if they picked it up.
Yeah, totally. Moon Knight has consistently been, I think this is issue 6, I believe. 5 or 6, I don't remember. Yeah, it's been really good so far. Really cool look at Mark Spector and where he's going now as Moon Knight.
Upcoming Disney Plus show.
Yep.
So we'll turn the topic on that one. We're going to try and keep these really brief and to the point for these topics outside of the one that you don't have much to say about. All right. So we'll move on to topic number 2. And it's the mystery topic that you hate. So,
oh, we're just adding one now?
no, this is the one that...
oh, okay. I was just like, I antagonized you enough in the past 10 minutes.
Maybe I will add one, though. We'll see.
Whatever, man.
I got to stick to the modus operandi at this
Bring
point.
it. I'm a G. I don't care. Let's go.
So for topic number 2, both grading companies are seeing a massive influx of submissions. I know you believe that I'm responsible for like 50% of them at this point.
The issues or just the issues that you've sent in?
Yeah, the issues I've sent in.
Yeah.
I know you say I send in way too many books.
You send in way too many books, yeah.
I would say not enough. But teach their own. How are they handling the massive increase? Let me go. I'll go over my endeavors with both of these companies over the last month and a half, 2 months. So you heard me talking to somebody about this. I've talked to you about it. I submitted books just before Black Friday. I think it was the 19th of November. I looked at my tracking number. It arrived on the 23rd. 2 weeks passed, and they still hadn't checked them into their system. So I sent them an email saying, "Hey, I sent you 3 orders. USPS says that you received them. They're still noted as submitted, not as received. Can you give me an update as to whether like these were received?" Because I told you this was a massive order. I think there was like $30,000 worth of books, $40,000 worth of books in those three orders, and one of them is not mine. They're the stuff from the pressing side, so that always adds a little bit extra stress to the.
Yeah.
You seem like you're getting a kick out of that.
Yeah, I am. No, I'm enjoying this.
So anyway, they sent me a response back. So I emailed them on 12/13. They emailed me 4 days later, and they said, "We have 8 to 10 weeks to check these in." Pretty much like "don't bother us" kind of an email.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know you said you're fine with that because everybody's probably bothering them at this point. Like,
I mean, they've said multiple times there's a huge backlog, and it's not like you sent them like 2 books. Like you sent them
60 books, I think.
Yeah, it was a lot.
61 books. Okay. Now, I will say 3 days later, thankfully, they did send me an email saying that they had been moved to receiving, and they did update the system. So it was about a month and 3 days later that it took them just to check in the books. Obviously, that scared me because I was like, what's going on here? So for CGC, I submitted books to them April this year, and they didn't receive those in their system until July 28th, and one of them is still not a clickable link. So I don't know whether you've used CGC before or not.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, so once they receive them or whatever...
We've covered this. I'm not a big fan of the slabs.
Yeah, so I know. It's supposed to become a clickable link, and this one is still not clickable even 5 months after they received it. And this one is a big... That particular order had 3 books in it: TMNT 1, TMNT 2, TMNT 4, the original series. And I emailed them also, and they were like, "We have 6 months to do this. Don't bother us." And I'll let you go ahead and say like it is what it is. You knew what you're getting into when you were submitting these.
Do I even need to technically say it if he just said it? Okay.
No,
cool.
Go ahead. It needs to come from your mouth.
It's fine. No, it's better if you say it.
But no, I mean, so like I said, all I wanted was a confirmation from CBCS that they were received, because obviously USPS before has said many times, like, "Oh, it's there," and it not be where it's supposed to be. A couple weeks ago, I ordered something on eBay, and they said they couldn't deliver to the address because it didn't exist, and then it was delivered that day, and I was like. So like I said, I don't trust USPS, particularly around this part of the year, because they are inundated with a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
So I know you're going to be like, I really have nothing to add to this, but nothing.
No, I mean it's a wild time of year for people who deliver mail. It's probably a wild time of year for the grading companies. I mean, I don't like to defend CBCS and CGC too much, but I mean, they're issues that have been around for a very long time. I don't think you're saying anything that anybody hasn't said a lot.
Not earth-shattering.
I mean, I understand like the whole anxiety of having a bunch of money in the mail and not really it being out of your control. I get that. So, like like your anxiety is warranted. I just don't want to add to the anxiety, I guess.
Well, like I said, I mean, I do understand that it's going to take them 6 months or whatever to grade it, and I'm okay with that. I just need to know, like, you have it in your possession, and
yeah, no, I understand. No, I feel that, and like I said, like it's warranted, I guess. I just,
Well, you heard me and another guy talking about ways that they could streamline at least the receiving part of it.
Sure.
But I think I've also said this before. I think both companies play games with the receiving part of it, so they can say that their turnaround times are lower than what they say.
I mean, they can say anything they want at the end of the day, and they can really do anything they want at the end of the day. I mean, you've got 2-3 choices, and the third one doesn't really count to get your comics graded at. So,
I mean, restaurants play the same games in order to get their turnaround times. Also, you'll see them like play games with like when they place the orders and
yeah, I think you just need to resign yourself that when you send something to those companies, it's just going to take a while, and you just need to kind of
Now, CGC did have a positive this week. They have updated their customer interface on how to submit books. I think it's much more user-friendly. The funny thing about that is, so people on those Facebook forums and stuff were like, this is what they focused on. They need to turn around books faster. And me and another guy were like laughing at it, like, because you think those guys are the graders, the guy who works on the...
Yeah. I mean, the guy that's unpacking your box isn't the guy that's grading your books. Like,
well, we're talking about even like the website designers.
Oh yeah, and the guy that's doing the code on the website, like he doesn't even know what a comic book is probably.
They're like, pull all those guys, get them on grading now.
Yeah. Didn't they also just get bought for like $10 bajillion or something like that? So what are they? I mean, did they just all take vacations or?
So that's just a heads up to everybody, though. And I think it's also important to do these updates because people do submit to CGC and CBCS through us. So I do want people to know, like, we are submitting the books. Like, it really comes down to the grading companies.
Don't come knocking on our door looking for your books.
No, but they can definitely come to me and I'll show them like the emails and stuff that.
You just refer them to this video.
I'll refer them to this video.
We'll timestamp.
Great idea. I like that. And I'll say, Chris loves...
You're just going to blame it on me? It's cool. It's fine.
All right, so we'll turn the page on that one. Don't forget to LCS, like, comment, and subscribe to Brainstorm Comics and Gaming's YouTube channel. We're adding more content all the time. We added an investment video that we do pretty regularly. We're trying to do that once every 2 or 3 weeks. We've gotten 2 in the can. Hopefully film the next one next week or the week after. I have to figure out with our cameraman and Tim when he's available.
Way to put him on the spot.
Yeah. I put him on the spot.
Yeah, you did. I'm just like, we're going to figure out.
Yeah. He's like John Cena. I
feel like the seal was broken a couple of videos back, and now we're just going to get wrestling stuff all the time now.
Both of you shook your head at that at the same time. I know you're not watching the investment videos because you said you're not as much into the investment stuff, but we got some good content on there. I did tell you some of the stuff that I was buying for the investment when you were like, wow, if you get that in.
I was actually looking for that book too, so maybe I'm better at this than I think. I don't know.
I've been buying a lot of Dark Horse stuff because I feel like a lot of it's underrated, and now with the news of our next topic.
That was a slick little segue there.
It was a nice little segue.
Almost like you knew what you were doing.
Almost. So, Dark Horse, let's move on to topic number 3.
And you burned it by doing that. You could have just slid right into it. Now
Dark Horse Comics was founded 35 years ago by Mike Richardson. For their anniversary, they have gotten a new owner.
That's a good way to put it.
Embracer Group has purchased them. They are a video game company, or I guess a holdings company, because it seems like they have a bunch of companies underneath them in terms of...
I mean, I feel like all those companies have a bunch of companies underneath them.
So What kind of impact, if any, do you think this will have on Dark Horse's properties?
I mean, I feel like it's early to tell. You know what I mean? I mean, Dark Horse has always had a bunch of stuff going on. They've always been, you know.
Apparently, they have at least 200 characters, 200 properties. They said that's under their.
Yeah, I mean, and they've got a lot of like. I know Marvel has Aliens now, but for a long time, you know, they had the Aliens and Predator stuff. I mean, Dark Horse has kind of always been that like not go to, but it's always been one of the major indie companies. Mm-hmm. So. Well, I mean,
attracting big names over the course of their.
Yeah, sure. There's been some really good stuff. I mean, they still continue to do relevant books. Mm-hmm. I mean,
Berger books, I think. So Karen Berger moved from Vertigo over to Dark Horse to start curating a bunch of books for them, getting some big name creators over there. I think a lot of underrated stuff. Also, The Mask originated there. Mm-hmm. Created by...
I think the first Predator in comics, first Alien in comics.
Yep. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yep. Those Dark Horse Present books were super cool.
Concrete,
yeah. What else?
Hellboy,
yeah. So, I mean, I think any money, any influx is good. You know, maybe they'll throw some more money behind some things and get some bigger creators.
Well, if I remember correctly, they also have that Netflix deal where Netflix has a first look at all of their properties. So,
yeah, but I feel like Dark Horse kind of does a lot of like already existing like movie type properties anyway.
Yeah, but they've done a lot of like stuff like She Could Fly and stuff like that as well. So,
but I mean, isn't everything getting an option for a show or a movie now? I mean,
and I don't know whether the Mask rights are still owned. I think Paramount did the original movie. I can't remember, but
you're the first person that's mentioned Mask in like 15 years.
It's fine.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I can see them making a video game out of it again, though. I think they did one before, if I remember correctly. Can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, so when they did the Sony Miles Morales game, that definitely, at least it seemed to have a big impact on the Ultimate Fallout 4. It seemed like that went through a big boost.
Yeah, I can't see them making a Mask game and all of a sudden people are going to start caring about the Mask. Like that's.
I don't think it's going to have that kind of impact, but they also have ones like Cloaked from last week, which I told you snuck under a lot of people's radar. I felt like that was a really good book. Also, so apparently this company has produced games like Saints Row, Dead Island, World War Z. Do you play video games? I don't play video games anymore. I play video games. I've played the original Dead Island, but that was like 15 years ago. No.
Sorry.
No. You play video games, sir? Seemed non-committal at best.
He knows when to not talk. It's good. He's the smart one.
He's the smart one.
Yeah.
But apparently they own companies like Deep Silver, Gearbox, and THQ Nordic also. So
maybe we'll see some more like some video game titles now.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, even that helps like break through in terms of like people becoming aware of the properties and things like that. So. Turok, most people hadn't heard of Turok when they did the original game for that.
Something about dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dinosaur Hunter.
Cool. I'm not completely.
But they did that game, how long ago was that? 20 years ago?
98.
Yeah, so 23 years ago. And that helped people become aware of that title when, admittedly, that was another video game company that had purchased Valiant at that time, and it did not turn out well. Hopefully this turns out better than...
What a sad operatic existence Valiant has had.
Yes. In many different ways. Acclaim bought them.
Yeah.
And
it's a shame too because there's some really good titles that Valiant has, and I feel like if they could get someone consistent to write and draw them and keep with a story, that they would be.
Well, it went kind of downhill for them when they pushed Jim Shooter out. Jim Shooter, as much of a tyrant as people say he is, knows how to run a comic book.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like just mentioning that name, you know, there's a ton of Marvel titles that probably wouldn't have been as good as they were without Jim Shooter on them.
Yeah.
You know, his work stuff aside, like that dude got results. And
Well, I'll have to loan you a book where it talks about how during the 70s, Marvel was like very chaotic, and that's why they brought Jim Shooter in, because they were like, you can get these guys in shape. They're
Right, yeah.
The inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, I think no matter what anybody says, like Jim Shooter was definitely an important part of things.
So I do hope that they don't follow the same pathway that Acclaim had
Sure.
for that.
I think that anybody that's going to buy a company like that, a company like Dark Horse, and throw money behind it, like it's probably going to be a good thing.
Now, Dark Horse has been around 35 years, and Valiant had only been around like 6 or 7 years, I think, when Acclaim bought them. So, like I said, I'm hopeful that it's a positive influence and not and not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to buy a company just to not do anything with it, especially in this kind of environment. You know, the way comic books and entertainment is done and treated. Yeah.
So we'll turn the page on that one. We'll keep up to date as we get more information in terms of what they are planning to do. So we'll move on to topic number 4. Punisher has been in the news due to groups co-opting the symbol for their own ends, which you and I have discussed here on Turning the Page several times. It seems Marvel has decided to combat this through some drastic changes to the character.
And by groups, you mean police and military organizations?
There's some other groups as well.
Those are the 2 specific ones that were cited by Marvel.
I think they were stupid for just mentioning those, because there's other groups that are again, like that are much worse. But anyway, to decide to combat this through changes to the character, retooling the emblem and altering Frank's mission. How do you feel about this?
Ugh. First of all, it's hilarious watching grown men cry about it on the internet. It was endless hours of entertainment yesterday.
Well, I know you and I disagree in terms of the symbol. Like, I like the new symbol. I think it looks cool.
Personally, for me, I think that it's like a backwards progression. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that symbol looks like something that would have been drawn in the 80s, and like the symbol they took away is probably what we have now.
Gotcha.
I particularly don't like it. I think it looks hokey and stupid.
I gotcha.
And I think the reasoning behind them doing it was kind of a cop-out and kind of silly.
So let's go into the story part of it. Apparently, he's going to get enlisted by the Hand and become the King of Killers.
Which makes no sense whatsoever if you know anything about the Punisher. Like, why would Frank Castle align himself with a group that literally kills people? That's what the Hand does.
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it does not.
0 sense. This many sense.
So this harkens back to me for the Marvel Knight storyline from the early or late 90s, early 2000s, where he was an angelic hunter. Like, they gave him all these. Like,
oh yeah, that was horrible too. And
I think they're getting so far away from the core of the character.
I said it earlier today when we were talking about it this morning. In my head, literally, it was nobody's talking about Punisher right now. Let's do something silly and make Punisher relevant again.
I wonder how the actor feels about it. I can guarantee you he's not.
Johnny B. Yeah. Who knows?
I'm assuming he's not happy.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. That's a tough one. Personally, I think it's silly. I don't think it's worth getting all up in arms about. People are freaking out about it.
You and I talked about this right before we started filming. There are ways to realign this without it being the negative and going in the way that they're going about it.
Yeah, I feel like they're focusing very, like I said, in the article that I read a couple of them, the ones you sent me actually, and they were ones I'd seen before. They mentioned multiple times that, and I know I've seen it before, the creator has said that he's like bummed out that he sees Punisher skulls on that police use them and military organizations use that as a symbol, and he doesn't like that, and that's not what Frank Castle's about. I mean, you make a cool looking skull and people are gonna put it on stuff. I don't think those people are necessarily being like, I am the Punisher, I'm the vigilante. Like, it's just a cool looking skull, man. Like, deal with it.
Well, I think you can, like I told you, I think you can realign the character though by giving him a new girlfriend and have something happen to her because of those type of groups, and then move his mission to that side. And
I mean, but that's his origin story to begin with. Like, I mean, yeah.
what I'm saying is you retool it for today, though, instead of like. So the big thing in the 70s was a whole bunch of gangs and things like that. So that's where the Punisher was. He was the equivalent of Death Wish and those type of movies from that period. So realign them.
Sweet white go-go boots.
So realign them for the modern era, the modern audience, instead of going in this direction, which makes it seem very strange and
It's very out of character for that character. It feels very disgenuine. It feels weird.
But that's so Jason Aaron is a good writer, and I don't understand why people like. For some reason, the narrative that they want to go with is always like far off from what the character's true motives and stuff are.
Yeah, I also don't get this whole to get a little long-winded about it. I don't understand this whole move of Marvel's where they want to move characters that are quote unquote bad guys, villains, whatever, into being good guys and against, like, I love the we've said it before, the Zdarsky Daredevil run has been stellar. It's amazing. I love that Elektra is Daredevil now, but I feel like there's been this push where they're like pushing these characters in away from what they were and making them something that they're not necessarily going to be good at, for lack of a better, I guess, explanation.
Or it doesn't fit the character.
It doesn't really fit the character. Like, there's zero reason that Frank like, why is Frank, maybe, I don't know, maybe I got to read it and I'll be like, oh, that's dope. But on first glance of that, why would Frank Castle join an organization of assassins? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It goes against everything that Frank Castle is like with. So
like I said, to me, it really does smack of like the whole Marvel Knights.
It's a cash grab. 100% it's a cash grab, man.
But I will also say they get to print new shirts and stuff also.
And with that terrible, and talk about, like, I was talking with a friend about it this morning. I was like, yo, did you see this? And he was like, yeah, dude. And I was like, I don't understand it. And he was like, well, it's kind of like appropriation and stuff. And I was like, I get that it's appropriation, but like, you blatantly made that skull look very Asian, and he's a white dude, and he's with a bunch of ninjas. So, like, it's so weird to me.
So here's the other thing: by abandoning a logo, you're letting those people win. And the thing is, every symbol can be co-opted by people that you.
Or do you think that because you changed it in this 13-issue storyline, that every cop and soldier everywhere is going to be like, oh, well, this ain't the Punisher symbol anymore. I take this thing off. No. You think every redneck in a big diesel truck with a giant Punisher sticker in the back is going to be like, oh, I got to find this new one because that ain't the Punisher logo no more? No. It affects them zero. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, you let them win at that point. Like,
yeah. Cash grab.
It's better to realign the character. But
sure.
I think we said everything we can about this.
Cash grab.
So we'll turn the page on this topic and move on to, we'll get to topic 5, I think. We'll go with topic 5.
Sure, I lost count.
So we live in a very visual medium. Every week, despite the old adage of don't judge a book by its cover, we all do it in a comic book shop.
Judge a book by its cover. In this case.
Yeah. So, and there are dozens and dozens of books up on the shelf every single week. Mm-hmm. The eye-catching ones are the ones that garner the most attention.
Yep.
So we're going to start a new segment where we give our 3 top A covers and our 3 top variant covers. Do you want to go first with your number 3, or do you want me to go number?
Are we going like 3, 2, 1?
Yeah, we'll go 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we're gonna go 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sure. I'll start. My number 3 was the regular cover for Nightwing 87. It's no secret that I love Nightwing. And I love Taylor. I love this run. Bitewing's amazing.
So the approach to that cover is one that they've been seeming to do a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say there seems to be a trend with this where they're kind of leaning into the whole acrobatic background, and I love it. I think it's great.
Well, not just for that series, but also, I forget what else did it. I think it was Spider-Man last week, maybe, where it's a very action-oriented. It shows several different of the same character, like in the middle of doing something. They also have 2 variants to Nightwing this week that kind of do the same thing, where he's climbing up the apartment building.
Yeah, I think it was a couple months ago. There was the issue where he was like, it was the kind of him jumping onto the building and going down the fire escape into changing into the suit that he makes.
That was a stage. There's one this week. that was a 1 in 50. I want to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah. You know, but I mean, like that. Like I said, they're kind of going with this trend of the action poses are more, and I feel like I like that kind of coming back in comic covers because for a long time, I know you and I have talked about this. That
Very
like
posed.
very posed and static. I know we all know who does that a whole lot. I appreciate it. You don't so much. I think it works in certain situations, but I definitely like the motion and the excitement of like it feels like there's something cool going on. Like I think it has its time and place, and I'm glad it's coming back.
Yeah, I think they did a good job with that.
Yep.
My number 3 for this week was the Amazing Spider-Man 82 cover by Romulo Fajardo. I'm massacring the name. I'm 100%.
We're sorry.
I'm 100% sure. But I really like that cover. It's like a building and
Kind of in the same vein, yeah, where like different things are happening on different levels and it all kind of ties together. That was actually a really cool cover too. Yeah.
so I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
You also see Spider-Man like over top of the building and
Yeah. I feel like poor Peter Parker, man. Yeah.
he's the Charlie Brown of comics.
He really is. He
He will never get that damn football.
Nope. I'm gonna die trying.
All right, what's your number 2, sir?
Batman and Catwoman issue 9. It's a Tom King book. We all know that.
You know the best thing about that cover? Tom King didn't draw it. Anyway, continue though.
I'm actually not sure who did the cover, who did the art on this one. Someone's gonna have to. Clayman. Yeah, it's just a cool cover. It's Catwoman like hugging the Joker, and then behind.
I almost picked that one.
Yeah, I just think it's a super cool cover. I like the play with like the matte and gloss, where like everything is matte except for like her, and that's glossy like her cat suit. I thought it was a really cool cover.
They did very well with that one. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's actually a good book too. I know you hate to say it, but it's been a really good run. Yeah, cool.
My number 2 pick was Wolverine number 19. The cover by Adam Kubert has a lot of horror feel to it.
Yeah, we're just gonna go. That was my number 1 pick for the week, so we'll just do both of ours. This reminds me of like a Mastodon cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something that like Skinner did or something like that. It's super cool. I don't even read Wolverine, and I bought this book because the cover is.
Reminds me a lot of like a Cthulhu type thing also. Like you think you're getting to safety, but there's this thing underneath the water getting ready to grab you.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll put it on the screen. It's a really it's a really cool cover that has Wolverine about an inch big on it. But the rest of it is just this wild kind of Leviathan looking thing. Yeah, super good cover. Yeah.
My number 1 pick was the Kang number 5 by Michael Del Mundo. The melting clocks, very Salvador Dali type looking thing. Played in well with the. I know you don't like Kang, but I don't know. It's very artistic. I like it a lot. Kang has some amazing covers.
It fit with like the what's going on in Kang and that character itself. Like, it was definitely a good kind of peek into what's going on in that book.
All the covers for that series have been great. All the covers for Wolverine have been great. I don't know if you've been watching.
Yeah, I have been. Like I said, I really don't like Wolverine that much, and the amount of books that I read a week, it's hard for me to grab something that I'm not going to read. You know what I mean? I don't have that much bandwidth. So it's really got, but some of these Wolverine covers have been really, really cool.
Start on the covers.
You know, stop. Stop.
No.
I mean, you know, if Jenny did them, I would buy them. There's no secret to that.
All right, so we'll move on to the best variant covers of the week.
Cool.
You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
You can go first.
All right, so my first runner-up was Phoenix Song Echo number 3. The cover was done by Chris Bachalo in a style that he normally doesn't do. Normally he's very angular. The thing I like most about this is Phoenix looks very is a very powerful force, but she's here alone on the moon, like looking off at the Earth. Like she's so distant from everything going on, and I don't know. I just feel like there's a story going on, even just in that simplicity of the cover.
Mine was the House of Slaughter number 3, the Virgin cover D variant. It's a Werther del Edra. Really cool cover. If you've read any Something's Killing the Children, if you're up to date on that, you'll probably recognize the setting. I just thought it was a really cool cover. It's like a barn. It's at night. There's dogs and stuff. Like, yeah.
Gotcha. My number 2 pick is the Ms. Marvel Beyond the Limit #1 cover.
That was almost on my list too. I like that cover a lot.
That one's by Natasha Bustos.
I feel like all the covers for that book have been pretty cool.
Yeah, I like this one because it's fun. Like she's playing with like the string kind of thing that like all
the cat's cradle.
Kids do it, whatever.
A side note, like this storyline seems really good too. I don't know if we've talked about that yet. The whole she kind of wakes up and I think literally this list said she wakes up and she's in a Bollywood movie and she can't figure out why. And I think that's super slick and I can't wait to read it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Also, Miles is on the cover.
Miles is, yeah.
Because she's playing with spider webs, not just the string. I don't know. So, I mean, it's 2 young characters that are very popular in Marvel, but they're doing it in a fun, playful way that kind of works a lot on for me, at least. So.
Yeah. No, I definitely like that cover, too. That was almost on my list. My number 2 was Black Panther 2, the Lashley variant.
I understand you have a retraction to make, perhaps?
Yeah, I think I already said it. Didn't I already say that I have to put my foot in my mouth and say that I reread #1 and liked it? So I bought issue 2. This cover has Miles Morales on it and Black Panther. And it's Miles' old costume, which I appreciate very much. He's not in a hoodie and face mask. No, I just think it was a really cool, like, dynamic cover that was drawn really well. So, yeah.
So for my #1 pick, I went with the Avengers Forever #1, 1 in 25 by Betsy Cola. You said you didn't even see this one.
I did. I missed it, and you showed me the picture, and it actually is a really cool cover. Yeah.
So it's an homage to Avengers #1, but it's all the female heroes. So you got Riri, you got She-Hulk, you got Jane Foster Thor, you have female Loki. To me, I think this is going to go down as a classic cover because it's kind of like a "We Are Here" type of.
Yeah, it's also.
statement.
I feel like it was a weird one to pick to like homage or whatever, but it worked really well for this one. It's kind of an odd cover to begin with. It's like a very like, I'm sure we'll put it on the screen. That's
over top of us.
Somewhere.
Instead of
in
us
here.
being on the screen.
Yeah. Just put the book up. Don't look at my ugly face anymore. Yeah, there's a very perspective thing going on there. It's kind of an odd cover to begin with, but it works for some reason, and I think it works really well with that variant too.
Yeah. I think she did an excellent job on it. I think that, like I said, I think it'll go down as a classic.
Yeah. So my #1, there's no surprise whatsoever. Catwoman 38, the Jenny Frison variant. It's Jenny Frison.
What? I'm shocked. How? What?
She draws Catwoman. She draws Catwoman so well. Yeah. I'm just gonna stand here and stare at it while I'm talking about it. Yeah. If you've watched any of these things, you know that Jenny Frison can do very little wrong in my book. So.
I know. So we'll turn the page on those topics, and we'll move on to our 6th and final topic. Who's having the best Wednesday ever?
It scares me when you do that.
What's that?
Like, I'm not ready for it every time. And you get all loud and it like startles me.
Do you want me to start?
No, it's cool. Keep doing it. It's just like I'll get used to it. Do you want to? I mean, yeah, I can start. You can start. Whatever.
I'll start. It's fine. Homage covers are having the best Wednesday ever. Avengers Forever #1 we just talked about.
But do we need another like 3 Spider-Man ASM 300?
I was going to say
covers?
Ash, and I forget the other one that Dynamite did this week.
Army of Darkness.
That's what I'm saying.
The Ash. Yeah. What was the other one?
It was a female character, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
And then also the Three Stooges did a Days of Future Past the homage.
Yeah.
For donuts, and I liked it.
Yeah. Some of them are good. I was actually just talking to my buddy the other day about homage covers and how much I like them. And I think we both kind of like said it at the same time. We were like, but ASM 300 covers are like, can we please stop?
Well, let's be honest. Tom McFarlane homaged 300 with issue number 301.
100%. And I get it. It's
1 month later, all I did was
it's a really good cover. I mean, it's classic, yada yada. We all love it. It's great. But like the first 100 times and 100 ways we did it cool. Now it's just getting to the point where like, can we find something else? There's other classic covers we can do.
Is there?
I mean, there really is. Yeah. I feel like there's a very fine line.
There's only 2 comics that were ever produced: Amazing
With-
Spider-Man 300.
There's a very fine line with
RG1.
homage covers. There is a very fine line with homage covers between being cool and just being like lazy.
Yeah.
And I think we've hit the point with ASM 300 homage covers that we're just being lazy at this point.
They're easy sells, though.
I mean, they are, but
That's the main reason why. But anyway,
the hopeful person in me wants us to be better as in the industry.
what is your first?
I think the consumer is having the best Wednesday ever. Comic book buyers, because it's 2 days before Christmas or whatever, and
lots of good stuff on the wall.
we got a crazy week of books. Yeah, there's a lot.
maybe a few board games at Brainstorm also.
Sneak that in there. Yeah, got them board games for you.
Well, they're not going to see this video until after.
That's cool.
Christmas,
Come
so-
buy board games after Christmas too.
Dark Horse, Mike Richardson having the best Wednesday. I'm sure his bank account is looking pretty nice.
Hey.
I don't know what he got paid, but I'm sure it was.
I mean, I'm sure there was some change involved. Yeah.
Mark Miller got paid $50 million when Netflix bought his properties. I think it was 52, something like that. Surely, like, Dark Horse got paid more than that. They have a lot more properties.
Paid that. Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yes, it is.
Man.
All these media conglomerates are desperate for properties right now. They want like anything that they can turn into a TV show or a movie or.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's probably having a pretty good Wednesday.
Right. My man is
His
sipping,
Christmas is looking very jolly.
sipping champagne. Maybe, I don't know if he drinks or not. Maybe he doesn't drink. I don't know. I don't want to put that on him. Maybe he's in recovery or something. I don't know. Yeah, no, I feel like it was a really good week for books. Chicken Devil 3 came out. We haven't talked about Chicken Devil for a little while. It's still a good book.
I have to read 2 and 3.
It's been good. You know, I mean, it's good.
There's a big
It's-
twist in number 3. I did page through it.
I would say it's like doing what you think Chicken Devil is going to do. If you've been reading Chicken Devil,
Have you read number 3 yet?
I haven't read number 3 yet. I haven't had a chance to read it. I've worked all day, so I didn't get a chance to read anything. That Hawkeye 2 coming out. I think that's one that I'm looking forward to. I think that's going to be a cool series.
Spider-Man No Way Home is having the best Wednesday ever. They're
My
having a great
goodness.
week altogether.
Yeah, it made Tom Holland cry. I've really heard nothing bad about that movie, in all honesty.
People are saying it's the best Spider-Man movie ever.
I mean, there's a couple of those like.
Although our cameraman is disagreeing, apparently. He's shaking his head no.
No, it wasn't the best Spider-Man movie. What was the best Spider-Man movie?
Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Verse. This was good, but
Let's say live action. Spider-Man 2? Really? Better than No Way Home? I mean, he knows a lot about movies.
He does. Or at least he claims to. We've been keeping it pretty spoiler free in the store outside of unless the store's empty. So.
I've actually been surprised too that the internet has been fairly spoiler free as far as I've seen. I think people are really respecting that.
Yeah. Although I did see a headline last night on Facebook, and it was like, I'm pretty sure you shouldn't say that in your headline. And
Yeah, it was somebody, I can't remember who it was. It was like Comic Book Realm or somebody. I was scrolling through Instagram and it was like the No Way Home Easter eggs, and there was like a picture and then something circled in the picture, and it's like, that's kind of lame, dude. Like it was really blurry and they didn't explain it, so I had no idea. But like, yeah. But overall, I haven't heard a bunch of like crazy spoilers or anything like that.
I think it's the 3rd highest ranked MCU movie at this point. Last week it was 2, so it did drop a little bit in Rotten Tomatoes.
Can we really rely on Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't know. I don't.
You don't
I
watch movies
movies
anyway. You don't watch TV movies. You don't read comic books. You don't do none of that.
Quit saying that. It's not true. You saw a whole stack of books I was reading over there today.
If by the 3 books that were on that table you're referring
There are
to.
not 3 books on that table.
What's on that
There
table?
are 7 or 8 books.
How many did you read?
I'm through 3 of them. I do have things to do during the day, Chris. Why didn't you read while you were tattooing?
I was making money.
So was I. It's the week before Christmas.
It's fine. Yeah. No, you're the one who I'm always like, hey, did you read so and so? And you're like, I don't read comics. I don't have time for that. Like, we talk about it on the internet, and you own a store, and you're like, I don't have time for that. Okay.
Now our cameraman's looking through what I'm reading.
How'd you like Batgirls, though? I saw that was on top.
I haven't read that one yet. That was the next one I was getting to.
So what did you read in that set?
I read Venom #1.
Yeah.
I read... What else is over
Did you
there?
read Robins?
I started Robins. I was bouncing between a bunch of them.
The store can't run without you. No questions could be answered without you. We all know that. Everybody that comes in here just wants to see you. It's fine. We know. We understand. It's a tough life being a comic man.
Motion covers having the best Wednesday ever. As we talked about, it seems like a new trend in the for covers.
Yeah.
I think it's a good one also. I'm glad that we're getting away from the static kind of covers. So.
Except for Jenny, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it, girl.
I know you're looking forward to her portfolio book that's coming up in January or February.
Yep. My homie just scored me her con book from C2E2 last week. That was a nice little thing to get in the mail this week.
Anything else you want to say to close out best Wednesday ever? Santa Claus having the best Wednesday ever.
Is he though? He's about ready to have to put in some work. Probably it's a rough week for old Saint Nicholas.
Tell me about it.
No, I mean I guess we're closing in on the end of the year and us doing these crazy little videos.
Yeah.
So I guess happy holidays. I don't know.
You don't think Santa Claus is having the best Wednesday ever?
I mean, spoiler alert, hide your kids. He's
Hey,
he's a
you know, he's a jolly man.
Sure. Apparently Zillow put his you can find his like
North Pole.
Yeah.
His house at the North Pole.
Apparently like $1 million house.
Well, never mind. I won't gonna say things. So, could have gone down a very bad path there. So, no more best Wednesday evers.
I mean, no, I feel like we're grasping at straws.
Turning the pages is having the best
Sure,
Wednesday
sure.
ever just because.
Are we? Because yeah, we are. We are.
So we will end there. Don't forget to visit the Brainstorm Comics and Gaming, either the downtown location in Frederick, Maryland, where you can have a cool day trip. You can visit the record stores, the restaurants, the bars, the distilleries, like all sorts of fun stuff to do downtown.
All sorts of stuff.
The libraries downtown also, the Curious Iguana, all sorts of good reading stuff down there.
Library was a weird flex to pull out. The Civil War
It's
Museum.
it's a good library, Civil War Museum.
It's as library goes, it's a good library. Come to Frederick for our library.
You're a weirdo.
I'm a weirdo.
Anyway, so or you can come to our Walkersville location where we have lots of back
Where
issues.
this is just what happens daily. It's
Lots of back
it's
issues.
just this shenanigans back and forth.
What's it, about 200,000 back issues we counted?
There's a lot.
don't
I
even
can't count
remember
that
this.
high.
Oh no, 60,000. 60,000 back issues.
That's
Well, it's 200,000 that we have out there, but only it's 60,000, 70,000 that we have up out.
You're just pulling numbers out, you know.
No,
just-
we have 200 long boxes, and there's about 300 comics per box.
It's a lot of comics, folks. It's a lot of comics.
And once we get the gaming room finished, then we can expand the amount of comics we have out in the main room even further. We have lots of boxes to take out there. I know you're like, yeah, John, get them out there.
Yeah, because I want to dig through them.
So, thank you for watching.
Happy holidays, too, as well,
Have a
everybody.
happy holidays.
No matter what you
Merry
celebrate,
Christmas.
Merry...
Happy Kwanzaa.
all of it.
Happy Hanukkah. Whatever.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends.
And don't kill your family. Try not to drink too much. Yeah.
And if you do drink, don't get behind the wheel of a car.
Nope. Uber.
Yes. And have a Merry Christmas.